say, for the most part, it means literally the word father. Look it up. I challenge you to do that. Look it up. It literally means strength of the house. And so you can tell too. You can look in there and see sometimes when the confidence or whatever happens, because there's games sometimes because of my work schedule and stuff that I have to be late to, or stuff like that. And just being able to show up and just being able to come, and just being able to watch, and like I said, not saying very much, but just being there. Being there is so important. Being there is so important. I mean, we've had some times where we've been able to see the difference, in what that means. We'll kind of share about that a little bit. Some differences.
I can say, once again with the standard thing, I know a lot of times girls have not even standards with other guys, but actually standards with their dads, how they'll look at you, and they might be fatherless or their dad works all the time. And they will say, I love the relationship you have with your dad. You guys look like y'all are best friends. I'm like, he low-key is. He like one of them. And, I can give an example of when we were at a basketball tournament. And one of the young ladies, her dad lived right down the street. And we were in Houston for this basketball tournament. And she was like, he lives right down the street. You make a right. He's the second house down. Why didn't he come to see me? I told him I'd be here. He told me he was going to come see me. Why doesn't my dad love me like yours does? And I didn't even know how to talk to that. I didn't even know how to speak to that. Because I feel like most of the time, us girls, I know we're so emotional. I feel like most of the time we just need a dad to help us with our emotional side. Just the occasional, how do you feel? How are you doing? Are you okay? Tell me what's up. Like me and dad, we'll go sometimes and he just sits and he's just like, talk to me. And I'm just like, daddy, what? I'm boo-hooing, boo-hoo crying. It's a little tough for him because he doesn't really know how to deal with
that's the experience.
All these emotions. But just to be there, even though it kind of makes him uncomfortable when I'm just boo-hoo, ugly crying, and he's still there. And I feel bad sometimes. I'm like, oh, I know it's gonna make him uncomfortable, but Dad, can I talk to you right quick? But yeah, just to she's like, she had a whole breakdown, but just because her dad wasn't there, she was like, he didn't even have to speak to me just to see him there at my game. I haven't seen him in X amount of years. I feel like seeing that and then seeing my relationship with you, I realize I'm quite blessed, and I'm very happy about that because I need my dad. I often tell him we gotta die at the same time.
I'm not even listening to that. I'm not listening to
we
that.
We gotta go at the same time.
We're not even talking about that.
We gotta go at the same time. No, Lord, when you take him, I got to go too.
Now let me tell
you
something.
My dad.
Let me tell you something. This, and I'm gonna tell you something. This is not at all because I know that there are certain circumstances, there are problems, there are issues, there are certain circumstances. People have different issues. Sometimes that is locked away in prison, sometimes that is passed on, all those kind of different things like that. And so, one of the things that I feel as a dad, that, sometimes we may end up kind of being almost kind of like a fill-in. I've done some mentoring, with, other young people and stuff like that, and that didn't have their fathers in their lives. And even I did some mentoring for a little while for a local program that had, different children that were involved, and most of them were in, single parent homes, or most of them had a situation where dad was not present. And so it was something different altogether for them to actually be able to have the interaction, with a person. Of course, I can't be their dad, but because I am a dad, I'm a dad. And so they don't necessarily call me dad, but there are certain aspects, there are even different young people that are involved in my life, and even now, in certain different ways, some little girls and different stuff like that. I'm not going to mention some names, but that are a part of our lives, and they're not just a part of my life; they're part of my family's life, to a degree. And, I feel it important to actually be able to make up the gap just to try. I can't make every single game for them like I can from most games, like I do most games for my children, but I can try to show up, try to be there, try to be available, to try to talk, because again, it's not about perfection. It's all about saying that I just, in every way, shape, form, or fashion, I just want to be there. Okay, I just want to be there, because that makes a difference in their world. And sometimes without you hearing them say it, you actually can see it on their countenance. You can see it on their face. It is so vitally important. I don't want you to be looking at them like, because even our interaction, as it's not perfect. This is not an image or picture of perfection. All right. Because there have been some times where it's like, okay, we plan the date, we ready to go on the date, and something happens, something come up, because not only do I have a job responsibilities, I also have ministry responsibilities, and so anything come up at any given point in time, and sometimes that just doesn't work out. Now we always try to find a way to circle back, to try to make it happen, to try to make it work out. Like, wait a minute, man, it's been a minute, we might need to go ahead and pick this back up again, and try to figure out, especially now with the whole and all of that stuff like that, and stuff shut down, and they potentially talk about stuff being shut down again. You know what I mean? So it's a lot that goes into it. It's challenging. It is not easy by any stretch of the imagination. Trust and believe it is not easy. I mean, the children now are to the point to where they're about to leave and approach the journey into adulthood, for the life that they're preparing to live, and get ready to go to college. And the oldest graduated last year, and then these twins are graduating this year in a few months. And everybody's going to be moving and going to college and doing all these different things like that. It's a different time frame, different time for a different season for my wife and myself. And we've learned a lot. We've grown together as a family. We've grown together. We walked together through our mistakes, and cried and prayed and cried, and yeah. Prayed some more, and walked through different seasons of our life and experienced loss and all those kind of different things like that. But at the end of the day, it is being present that makes all the difference in the world. Yeah. This past July, it's been a little bit over a year now, July 2019, my dad, after 73 years of being blessed with life, exited this life and transitioned, into eternity. And I'm going to tell you, even as a grown man, it's different for me, and I'm grateful for the fact that I still have my mom, and my mom and I, we talk probably every 3 or 4 days. If she hadn't heard from me, and it's been a little too long, she's going to call, and tell me, hi, stranger, and then we'll have a conversation. So I'm really grateful for my mom, but it does make a difference just knowing, Dad and I didn't talk every single day. He and I talk, periodically from time to time, because he can talk a long time, And so I usually would go visit Dad when I really didn't have anything else to do, because I know he was going to want to talk, and, and then we would, kind of do different things, have different interaction. And just even those simple moments, me being an adult and being a father and having children of my own, it's just a different world without him here, but thankfully there was enough interaction with me and him, till, although physically, I miss him, physically he is not present, still the principles that he taught me, the things that he gave to us, in our lives when we were growing up, and even into my adulthood, that interaction that we had, that is still present. That is still with me. So that still becomes a guide and a barometer for me as well. One of the toughest things, that I ever experienced, and my dad was not perfect. Dad made his mistakes. He did the best he could, but he was not perfect. But, I can say this one thing. I never, ever did have to live in the house without him, and that makes a big difference. That makes a big difference. And so, Dads, we just wanted to really encourage you, just to, and I keep saying that because it's so important that you realize that this is about encouraging you. This is about you We're going to be talking a little bit more, but this is about you really being able to hear from the perspective of a child, the perspective of your children, to be able to hear what it means to them, for you to be present. That, we don't want to beat you up, there's some ways that we can support you. There's information that is down in the comment section. There's an email where you can get in touch with us, where we can kind of talk, we can kind of share some things. We can kind of give you support. We can kind of give you some support, some pointers, because that's what this is all about. Our care is more than just videos on YouTube. The plan is that we're going to be developing this even further, and you'll have access to different materials, and we're building out a website, and we'll have our care gear and stuff like that that'll be available to you. But then the big thing is, we've been hosting a men's conference that's called into a family conference, and so we're going to continue just to build up on that, throughout our care, and be able to bring dads together. And we're going to have some strengthening, iron sharpening iron, and times together. We'll be able to fellowship, and so able to give support, as much support as we possibly can, to every dad that we possibly can reach over this course of time. So thank you so much for being with us again. Please Well, thanks again. So glad you joined us tonight. I hope you got a lot out of that conversation. There's going to be some more of those conversations coming in the month of February. All of the children, my wife will all be on, and we'll be sharing with you. Thank you so much again for joining us tonight. Thank you so much for being a part of our channel, for being a part of our journey. Sorry for the technical difficulties that we experienced there. This is live tonight. Just be forgiving on that. But nevertheless, listen, it's been great. We've had fun. Don't forget that you are important, you are needed, you matter. You are a good man doing the best you can, and you're going to continue to work to make your best better. Thanks for joining us on Facts and Fatherhood. We'll see you on next Fatherhood Friday. See you later.